Hey everyone, a very good afternoon to all of you guys. Welcome to the second marathon session. We'll be discussing about the rest of the RBI circulars, directions and reports. Let's quickly start the discussion. Okay guys, so what will be the agenda for today is, first we'll be discussing about some of the finance current affairs, some of the RBI circulars that are related to your October month, right? Specifically your first and second week of October, right? And once we are done with this particular news and circulars, though I have already covered it in my finance MCQ series, right? Finance current affairs sessions, but still I'll cover in the marathon as well some of the October news that can be important for your examination, right? Then we will proceed to June, May, and if possible we'll try to cover the April month circulars as well. If not possible, no problem at all. I'll be giving you all the MCQs and all the relevant key pointers from the April month, right? We'll be doing MCQs on multiple reports in between, and some of the MCQs and concepts related to the finance current affairs sessions also we'll be doing in this particular lecture. Okay guys, let's start. The very first question, the very first concept for today: RBI grants SRO status to the Finance Industry Development Council. Now this question can directly come in your examination. This is the new SRO which has been granted to the Finance Industry Development Council for the NBFCs and for the non-bank sector lending entities, right? Please do remember the name, Finance Industry Development Council. RBI eases rules on banks overseas perpetual debt. So perpetual debt के related जो norms हैं वो यहाँ पे simplify कर चुके हैं. Now from 1st of October 2025, PDIs will be eligible for inclusion in the AT1 capital up to 1.5% of the RWA. So 1.5% of the RWA will be the cap for the PDIs. Now they are eligible for being inclusion for inclusion in the AT1 capital up to 1.5%. Okay. RBI unveils major liquidity reforms to energize the capital market. The very first reform is permission to the banks for the corporate acquisition, right? And we have covered this in the finance current affairs session related to the mergers and acquisition. So now the banks can also finance the mergers and acquisition as per this update. Big jump in the loan limit against the shares. So earlier bank individuals can borrow against the shares up to 20 lakhs only. Now it is increased to 1 crore. IPO loan cap for the retail investors also got increased. So earlier, from the earlier limit of 10 lakh rupees, now the new limit is 25 lakh rupees. So 25 lakh for a IPO. For lending based on shares, 1 crore. And here mergers and acquisition financing is also now allowed. Freedom to lend against the debt security. So now RBI has removed all the limits on loan backed by the listed debt instrument. You can get loan based on the listed debt instrument as well. All the caps which were previously there is now eased by the Reserve Bank of India, and eased rules for lending to large corporates. So there were some restrictions if you are lending beyond 10,000 crore. Now these restrictions, these framework, the earlier framework will now be phased out. Right, so I have summarized each and everything for you guys in a tabular format as well. Just give it a quick reading after this session is table go. Okay. Next one, RBI to reduce the bank capital requirement via the revised Basel III norms from April 2027. Right, so RBI is going to revise the Basel III capital adequacy norm for the commercial banks starting from this particular date of 1st April 2027. Right. They are expected to reduce the capital requirements related to the CET1 ratio by 10 to anywhere around 10 to 50 basis point can be the reduction. Right, so definitely there will be lower risk weight for segments like MSMEs and residential real estate and housing loan. This is going to boost liquidity. Next one, can you tell me this particular question का answer in the comment section? The Bank of India has collaborated with a fintech player to strengthen the MSME financing ecosystem recently, in the month of October only. So what do you think is the correct choice here? Which fintech firm has partnered with Bank of India to launch the BOI Trade Easy? Any idea about this one, guys? Yes, Cash Invoice is the one, right? Cash Invoice is the one. Acha, can you tell me the revised timeline, maximum time allowed for the forex outlay in case of MTT? What is MTT? Mercanting trade transactions. So this is a part of your October 1st week RBI circular. Mercanting trade transaction ka timeline has been changed. Yes, 6 months, right? It is now 6 months. So earlier it used to be 4 months. On 1st of October, RBI has revised it to 6 months. Now this can be important for your examination as well, okay? So don't ignore at least the first wala week ka October ka news, okay? And I'm covering that as well in this particular session. Tell me this one, which is the single unified appellate forum for the second level appeal now under the GST which was recently launched? A very simple one. A very simple one. Yes, it is Goods and Service Tax Appellate Tribunal, right? GST 80. Perfect. Next one. Every bench of the newly launched GST appellate mechanism has been structured carefully to ensure a balanced representation of the expertise. Each bench of the GST appellate tribunal will consist of which of the following members? So this is regarding the composition of the GST 80. Composition of the GST appellate tribunal. 2 judicial members, 1 technical member from the center and 1 technical member from the state. Perfect. Option B. Next one. SEBI launched the Development of Industry Associations scheme to strengthen the MSME cluster. So you need to remember this particular finance current affair as well. This is from the first week of October, right? This is from the first week of October. Tell me now, Indian travelers can use the UPI for payments in which country, which was recently approved in the last week of September 2025. A very simple one, a very straight one. Yes, it is Qatar. Option B. Option B is the correct choice. Next one. The RBI recently renewed statement of commitment to which of the international code? It was related to FX. It was FX global code, right? It was FX global code. It was FX global code. In July 2025, the LRS number saw a notable dip compared to the previous month. Can you tell me what was the total outward remittances under the LRS in July 2025, which was a recently published data? Which was a recently published data. The correct choice here will be 2.45 billion USD, okay? 2.45 billion USD. And as per the MPC meeting, what will be the growth projection for 2026? For financial year 2026, the growth projection will now be 6.8%, right? 6.8% as per the recent Monetary Policy Committee meeting update, right? And in this particular lecture, I have incorporated the monetary policy upgrade as well. Yes. ADB cuts India's financial year 2026 का growth forecast to 6.5%. So ADB का growth forecast for financial year 2026 as well as 2027 will be 6.5%, right? 27 and 26 financial year 6.5%. This is for the Asian Development Bank. This is for the Asian Development Bank. World Bank का 6.5%. अगेन आपको याद करने में इजी होगा. फॉर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2026 इट इज 6.5% एंड फॉर 2027 इट इज 6.3%. Tell me this one. What is the total gross market borrowings via dated securities pegged for half yearly to of financial year 2026? It is 6.77 lakh crore. Perfect. 6.77 lakh crore. What are the OECD's revised GDP growth forecast for 2025 and 2026 respectively? That's 6.7% and 6.2%. 6.7% for 2025, 6.2% for 2026. Right? What is the revised minimum net worth requirement for custodians under the SEBI's amended custodian regulations? Now this can be important. This can be important. What is the revised net worth requirement for the custodians under the SEBI's amended custodian requirement? It is 75 crore. Option E, 75 crore. Perfect. Tell me what about the transition period? What about the existing custodians? So they have been given the 3-year timeline to comply with the net worth requirement of 75 crore. Right? Next one, retail inflation falls to 8-year low in September 2025 because the September 2025 ka data is now released. So your inflation, CPI inflation data will be relevant for your September 2025, which is 1.54%, which is lowest after June 2017. Food inflation is still in the deflationary territory. It's still negative in the 4th consecutive month as well. Right? So 1.54% is the new data, which we can see, and we can clearly see that the urban inflation is quite higher than the rural inflation, and that's what always the trend is, right? So in August 2025 it was 2.07, now it is 1.54, right? 1.54. And have a look at the food inflation data as well. It is in the negative territory as of now. It is minus 2.28%, right? So in the previous month it was negative 0.64% and now it is negative 2.28%. Kerala is again on the top if I talk about the inflation data. Then if I talk about the wholesale price index, 0.13% is the data. It used to be 0.52% in August 2025, but here we are having the latest data, so हम इसके साथ जाएंगे आगे, right? एग्जामिनेशन के अंदर एंड फूड इंडेक्स का डेटा आप देख सकते हो WPI के अंदर वापस से आपका नेगेटिव टेरिटरी के अंदर है, ठीक है? RBI's new banking rules to improve the loan flexibility and the policy transmission. अच्छा, ये वाले रूल्स कब से अफेक्ट हो रहे हैं? 1st of October 2025 से. This is just to make the transmission faster and improve the loan flexibility, effective from 1st of October 2025. The very first one is AT1 requirements, right? Banks can now raise more AT1 capital through perpetual debt instrument. ये हमने डिस्कस कर लिया है. Gold and silver loan. Now Tier 3 and Tier 4 urban cooperative banks can do what? They can give working capital loan to the businessmen if they are using gold and silver as a raw material, right? Then the next one is regarding the floating rate loans. If you guys remember, ये हमने कल ही डिस्कस किया था. Within 3 years now you can change the spread as well, but it should not be any kind of discriminatory in practice, right? Plus you need to give option earlier. You need to compulsorily give the option to switch to the fixed rate. Now it is voluntary, right? Now it is voluntary. So all the things I have again summarized in the tabular manner as well for you guys for the quick revision purpose. So do download this PDF for the maximum benefit. Export data processing monitoring system and import data processing monitoring system के अंदर कुछ change आया है. What they did is they have just revised the timeline here, right? Some of the rules and regulation they have revised, and all the rules and regulations stated in this particular circular, if the transaction value is 10 lakh or less per entry or per bill, you need to comply with these rules and regulations. So please do remember this particular threshold, right? Please do remember this particular threshold. These are nothing but system to track the export transaction in India and import transaction in India. So RBI system को use करता है data track करने के लिए related to export and import, and some of the rules and regulations are there if your transaction value is less than or equal to 10 lakh rupees. Then Reserve Bank of India integrated Ombudsman scheme. So on 7th of October, this news came on the RBI website. State cooperative banks and central cooperative banks shall also be treated as now regulated entities. So state cooperative banks and central cooperative banks will now be treated as a regulated entity. Basically, they will now be falling under the criteria of the integrated Ombud scheme of RBI. सही है. So now this will be upgraded, I can say, applicability of this particular scheme. Now this can be important for your examination as well. Okay, please do remember state cooperative bank and central cooperative bank को क्या किया है, regulated entity के अंदर include कर लिया in case of integrated ombudsman scheme now from the 1st of November 2025. Please do remember this particular news. अच्छा, फेमा गाइडलाइंस के अंदर एक छोटा सा चेंज किया था 6th of October को. क्या चेंज किया था? They have included the definition of IFSC now, right? Plus there is a change in the repatriation as well. Earlier it used to be 1 month, now they have done it 3 months just for the IFSC account. So in case if it's a IFSC account, now the repatriation timeline has been increased from 1 month to 3 months. Rest 1 month is the same for others, for the non-IFSC accounts, right? Then I think last month only in the September we have done this particular circular related to international trade settlement, right? International trade settlement. Just give me a second now. Okay. We have done this particular circular last month only related to international trade settlement in the INR. So special rupee Vostro account, I hope you guys remember, special rupee Vostro account can be used for investment in government treasury bills and government security. And now RBI has also permitted the use of SRVA investment in the non-convertible debentures and bonds and commercial papers issued by the Indian company. So via SRVA now you can invest in non-convertible debentures, non-convertible bonds as well, and commercial papers as well of Indian corporate entities, right? This is the amendment. Again, this can be important for your examination. ठीक है. RBI unveils 4 digital payment initiative. We have already covered this. So IoT payments with UPI, Banking Connect initiative, UPI Reserve Pay, and AI based UPI help. These are the 4 digital payment initiatives that RBI has introduced. This is solely related to UPI. IoT means Internet of Things, right? So now you can pay, you can do UPI transactions through your wearables as well, through your car as well, right? Internet of Things के through जो भी connected है उसके through you can make UPI transactions. Banking Connect, it's an interoperable banking net banking solution. Again, this allows the payment aggregator to connect with the multiple banks via single integration. Then UPI Reserve or AI based UPI help. These are the 2 new features which were added. राइट, ये न्यूज़पेपर का था, बेसिकली आपका फाइनेंस करंट अफेयर्स का पार्ट था. सेबी अमेंडेड द सिक्योरिटीज एंड एक्सचेंज बोर्ड ऑफ इंडिया रेगुलेशन रिलेटेड टू AIF. नाउ आई हैव डन अ सेपरेट वीडियो रिलेटेड टू AIF. व्हाट थिंग्स यू गाइज नीड टू रिमेंबर फॉर योर एग्जामिनेशन हियर विल बी minimum investors should be 5 accredited investors, right, just before the first closure. And how many non-accredited investor can be there? A maximum of 200 non-accredited investors can be there. And the follow-on limit will be 25 crore per company. The follow-on limit will be 25 crore per company. ठीक है. अब हो सकता है कुछ कुछ सर्कुलर थोड़े से नए लग रहे हो आप लोगों को, ठीक है, इनको स्पेसिफिक वीडियोस में कवर किया गया था अलग से. And no problem at all, just try to remember the major timelines, major limits and so on. Ease of regulatory compliance for FPI investing only in government securities. हाँ, इकोनॉमिक सर्वे और बजट अभी मैं इस वाली क्लास में नहीं ले रहा हूँ, राइट. मोस्ट प्रोबेबली वो आपके दूसरे सेशन के अंदर दूसरी मैराथन में कवर्ड होगा, ठीक है। हम यहाँ पे सिर्फ अभी किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, आरबीआई सर्कुलर्स और कुछ फिनेंस करंट अफेयर्स रिलेटेड टू योर अक्टूबर मंथ, ठीक है। मोस्टली दिस इज आरबीआई सर्कुलर्स रिपोर्ट्स ओनली, सो नो वरीज एट ऑल, राइट। RBI circular related to June 2025. Let's start the discussion. Lending against the precious metal in India is governed by the various regulatory safeguards to prevent the misuse of it. Can you tell me which form of asset has been explicitly restricted from being accepted as a collateral? A bank cannot accept it as a collateral due to the speculative and non-productive usage. So this is from the gold and silver guidelines of RBI. सो गाइज अभी तक हमने क्या किया है, अक्टूबर मंथ वाले फिनेंस करंट अफेयर्स और सर्कुलर्स को डिस्कस किया है, ठीक है। अब मैं किस पे आ चुका हूँ, आपके जून मंथ पे आ चुका हूँ। जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर वी हैव ऑलरेडी कंक्लूडेड yesterday itself, right? Here the correct choice will be primary gold in the form of bullion. We won't be considerate. Why? Because of speculative and non-productive usage. Next one. Can you tell me the deadline? Can you tell me the implementation timeline or deadline for the RBI lending against gold and silver collateral direction 2025? Timeline of this particular direction. That's 1st of April 2026, right? 1st of April 2026. What must lender frame to define the limits, LTV ratios, SOPs, purity norms and valuation methods under the RBI new guideline? What must the lender frame to define all the limits under this particular guideline? So they need to have a credit policy as per this particular direction. They need to have a credit policy. Can you guys tell me, as per the guidelines, loan exceeding which of the following threshold require a credit assessment and verification of repayment capacity? Very, very important for your examination. Loan exceeding, loan crossing the threshold, a particular threshold require a credit assessment and verification of repayment capacity. Very, very important. It is 2.5 lakh. If the loan threshold is going above 2.5 lakh, then in that case, there will be a credit assessment and verification of repayment capacity requirement. Next one, lending against which of the following is not allowed as per the RBI circular related to the gold and silver collateral? Any idea about this one, guys? Yes, all of the above, right? You cannot lend against primary gold and silver, gold ETF, gold mutual funds, silver mutual funds. Right, these instruments, these are financial instruments, they are not actual gold, right? They are financial instruments. Next one, which of the following statement is incorrect with respect to the RBI gold and silver lending regulation? Very first statement, repledging of the third party gold or silver is allowed, but with the borrower's consent. You need to identify the incorrect statement here. Option B, valuation excludes precious stones and fastening. Price must be sourced from IBJA or SEBI recognized exchange. Option D, maximum gold collateral limit per borrower is 1 kg for the ornaments. And option E, assaying must be standardized across all the branches. Guys, C is correct. Why? Because price is actually sourced from the IBJA or SEBI recognized exchange only, and IBJA is one of the SEBI recognized exchange. A is the wrong answer. Perfect, Krishna. Repledging of the third party gold and silver is not allowed in any case, whether it's a consent from the borrower or not, right? A is incorrect one. Next one. What is the maximum permitted loan duration under the guideline? For loans repaid through a single bullet repayment structure and used for consumption purpose, what is the maximum loan duration as per the RBI guidelines? That's 12 months, okay? That's 12 months. Option C is the correct choice here, 12 months. Next one. According to the RBI guidelines, valuation of the gold and silver collateral must be based on which of the following method? Which of the following method is used? So lower of 30-day average price or the previous day price is used. Option C. lower of whatever the average price in the previous 30 days or just the previous day price is considered. Option C. Next one. Important for phase 1. What is the maximum LTV ratio permitted under the RBI lending against gold and silver collateral direction for loans up to 2.5 lakh rupees? For loan up to 2.5 lakh rupees. That's 85%. Okay, that's 85%. So option D here is the correct choice. Very good. Next one. Upon full repayment of the gold and silver loan, let's suppose I have completely paid off the gold and silver loan, the pledged collateral, now that particular gold that I have given to the bank must be returned to the borrower, to me, within how many working days? Within how many working days? Within 7 working days. भाई वेलकम टू इंडिया, यहाँ 3 दिन में कुछ नहीं होता है, ठीक है, मिनिमम 7 दिन तो लगते हैं. अच्छा, कैन यू टेल मी द टाइमलाइन in case of a deceased customer that we discussed? In case a particular customer is deceased and the nominee is claiming the deposit or the locker, then in that case, how many days? As soon as possible. There is no option as like as soon as possible. Yes, 15 days, right? 15 days for deceased customer, and for the gold and silver it is 7 days, right? Next one. In the first auction of the pledged collateral under the RBI norms, what must be the minimum reserve price as a percentage of the current market value? Let's suppose the banks are auctioning that particular, are making the auction of that particular gold or silver due to non-repayment. Due to non-repayment. That's 90%, right? That's 90%. What is the applicable LTV cap for gold and silver loans sanctioned between 2.5 lakh and 5 lakh rupees? LTV cap for 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh, that's 80%. That's option B, 80%. Very good. I know that some of the questions are deeply from the circular, right? Like this one. Like this particular one. Though in the worst case scenario you can get questions like these as well, but mostly you will get questions like number based, I can say, or date based or concept based. अच्छा, कोई penalty का amount पूछ रहे थे, I don't know. Okay, Krishna was asking about the penalty amount. So what is the compensation if you are delaying beyond the 7 working days? So 5,000 per day, and that's what the beauty of penalties is. Even in the case of deceased customer wala circular, the penalty is 5,000 rupee per day. Here also the penalty is 5,000 rupee per day, right? So यहाँ sorted है, हमको कुछ याद नहीं रखना. We don't have to remember more and more data here. Okay, next one. What is the LTV ratio cap for loans above 5 lakh rupee under the RBI guideline? If the loan is crossing 5 lakh rupee, then 75%, right? Then 75%. जैसे जैसे amount increase होता है वैसे वैसे LTV ratio आपका गिरता चला जाता है. यार अलग से PDF तो I don't think there is a अलग से PDF for just the timelines, right? But yeah, definitely Oliveboard is having PDF related to RBI circular. So the best part always is कि आप circular वाले PDF से ही सारी timeline पढ़ो, so that at least the important stuff goes again and again to your brain, because hardly timeline related एक या दो question आने, right? एक या दो question से ज़्यादा नहीं आते generally timeline related, okay? So these questions were from the lending against the gold and silver direction 2025, right? And I have mentioned the summary pointers as well for you guys. So just quickly download this particular PDF right after this session, and you will be able to revise all the circulars, I can say, of past 3 months, right? April, May, June, July, August, September के हमने कर लिए, अक्टूबर के आज स्टार्टिंग में कर लिए, अब बचेगा अप्रैल में, जून, वो भी खत्म हो जाएंगे आपके यहाँ से. Okay. So please do remember this one as well. This is a review of the qualifying asset criteria. This is for the NBFC MFI shall constitute minimum 60% of the total asset. Qualifying assets for NBFC MFI shall constitute a minimum of 60% of the total asset. If an NBFC MFI fails to make such qualifying asset, your qualifying asset should be at least 60% of your total assets. This is for the NBFC MFI. अगर नहीं हुआ for 4 consecutive quarters, if you fail to meet this particular criteria, then you need to approach to the Reserve Bank of India for the remediation plan in this particular matter. Please do remember this, 60% of the total asset should be qualifying asset for NBFC MFI, can be important, can directly come in your phase 1 examination. Next one, which of the following contribution has the RBI exempted from being counted towards the exposure limit? It is for the contribution to the NABARD, NHB, SEBI, Mudra or any other specified institution, option B. If you are giving contributions in these institutions, then it will be completely exempted from being counted towards the bank exposure limits. And what will be the categorization of these assets? It will be 100% risk weight, all other asset category, all other assets category, 100% of the risk weight. What is the maximum exposure allowed to the group of connected borrower parties under the exemption provided by Reserve Bank of India here? Now this is being done to prevent excessive concentration of credit risk basically. That's 25%, okay, option D 25%, that is 25%. So this is from the treatment of PSL shortfall contribution of the urban cooperative banks. Acha, this one can be very important. That's why I am again and again taking this. No doubt this is a part of your SEBI circular or your finance current affair. So do remember, this is from the new rules for the monitoring of the intraday derivative position. The net exposure is 5,000 crore. The gross exposure is 10,000 crore, right? And we have learned that at least 4 random snapshots are required, and 1 snapshot is required between the peak time of 2:45 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Please do remember the concept of 4 snapshot, 5,000 crore and 10,000 crore. This is for the net, this is for the gross, right? Okay. RBI has introduced a customer-friendly provision in its KYC amendments to maintain the accounts continuity for a certain category. So obviously this is for the low risk category. If you are falling in the low risk category, then what will be the timeline? Tell me. If you are falling in the low risk category in terms of KYC timelines, then as per the latest guideline, what will be your deadline? What will be your deadline? And this can be important for your phase 1 examination. Quickly guys, everyone in the comment section. Don't just be here to attend the session. This is a live session. Otherwise, it can be a recorded one as well. Ask your queries, interact with the faculty members. That's what the main purpose of conducting live sessions is. Option A, within 1 year or by 30th June 2026, whichever is later. Option A here will be the correct choice. Okay. Please do remember this one, can be important. Next one. Under the amended KYC norms, which of the following can now be used by the banks for periodic KYC upgrades to customer? I don't think as of now the application is available on the Apple Store. It's there on the Android only as of now. The correct choice here is option C, business correspondents. Okay, option C. So this was from the Know Your Customer Amendment Directions 2025. Right? Please do remember this particular timeline and the concept of business correspondent. And in the meanwhile, you can see I have inserted some of the finance current affairs as well for your understanding, though we have already covered this thing in the free rankers batch. If you have taken paid course, definitely all the finance current affairs are covered. Still, in the marathon session, there is no harm in reading these finance current affairs. right, while reading the circulars. Next question. Can you tell me the full form of strips? Now this can be one of the most important thing for your examination. Not sure whether it will come in your phase 1 or phase 2. कहीं पे भी आ सकता है because it's a part of financial awareness as well. Right, one question I can say, one or two question can definitely come from this particular topic in both the phases. It is separate trading of registered interest and principal of security. I have told you what we do in strips. We strip apart the interest payment and the principal payment. That's why we call it as we are separately trading in registered principal and interest of securities, right? Option E here will be the correct choice. Option E here will be the correct choice. Tell me this one. As per the new circular, which of the following entities are now allowed to issue securities eligible for stripping and reconstruction under the strips? Can directly come in your examination. Quickly guys, in the comment section. We don't have so much of time. Again, it's a 450 page PPT today as well. We have to do some of the questions from the financial stability report as well. Half we have done it yesterday and the rest we will be doing it today. Option C, state government. Okay, state government. Under the RBI strip guidelines, which of the following describes the nature of securities eligible for stripping? Which of the following describes the nature of securities eligible for stripping? That is fixed coupon securities issued by state government or union territories. So they are basically the fixed coupon securities. They are basically the fixed coupon securities. Can be important for your phase 1 again. What is the minimum outstanding amount required? If you want to strip apart a security, what should be the minimum outstanding amount which is required? 1000 crore, right? A straight answer 1000 crore, option A. Can be important. Option A, 1000 crore. Next one. Which of the following statement is incorrect regarding the stripping and reconstruction of SGS as per the RBI circular? Incorrect. Securities must be SLR eligible. Securities must be transferable in the secondary market. Effective date is June 2025. SGL account holder can directly place request in e-Kuber. None of the following, all the statements are correct here. None of the following, all the statements are correct here related to stripping or reconstruction in state government securities. What do you mean by stripping? When I strip apart a particular security, let's suppose I have a bond. Now I'm segregating the interest as well as the principal component. I'll sell it separately. What is reconstruction? When I'm again combining the interest and principal into a single financial instrument, that's called as reconstruction or reconstitution. So can be important guys. Definitely questions will come from this particular circular. So don't ignore this one. Okay. Acha, tell me this one. These platforms facilitate the electronic trading of eligible instruments. According to the RBI, what is meant by the electronic trading platform? That's very straight. What is an electronic trading platform? It's nothing but a circular that RBI recently released. It's nothing but an electronic system for trading in the RBI authorized financial instrument. So whatever RBI authorized financial instruments are there, you can do electronic trading in those securities via this particular system. Right? Option E here will be the correct choice. It's an electronic system for trading in authorized financial instruments by Reserve Bank of India. Which of the following best describes the condition under which an entity is exempt from the applicability of the ETP direction? Tell me this one. Best describes the condition under which an entity is exempt. Yes. Option C. When they are the sole code providers, you don't have to follow this particular circular. What is the minimum net worth? Important that an ETP operator must maintain at all times as per the master direction issued in 2025. minimum net worth requirement. Come on guys, quickly. Minimum net worth requirement. That's 5 crore. Okay, option C, 5 crore. Perfect. 5 crore. Next one. Certain entities are exempted from the operational provision of the ETP. What are such exempted? Scheduled commercial banks and primary dealer still required to do even if they are exempted. Suppose I am a scheduled commercial bank, I am exempted from the requirement of the ETP, but still I need to report the required data to the RBI or the trade repositories. That's the bare minimum that I need to do. Again related to ETP only, prescribes a strict condition covering all the aspects to ensure transparency and reliability. Which of the following is not a correct eligibility criteria for this particular direction? None of the above. Option E, none of the above. None of the above is the correct choice. All are correct. Next one. Let's suppose if I want to apply for authorization, I want to be a ETP, I want to open my own ETP. What I need to do? Obviously, I need to apply via Prava portal of RBI. Right? I need to operate via the Prava portal of RBI. Next one. RBI has imposed a restriction for running the electronic trading platform. Which of the following statement is correct regarding the transfer of the RBI authorization to operate as an ETP? Transfer of ETP. Transfer is not permitted under any condition. Option D, transfer is not at all permitted under any condition. Okay. If you have got the authorization to operate as ETP, you cannot transfer it. It's non-transferable. Which of the following is not a correctly stated eligibility criteria under the operating framework of the ETP? First one, must maintain a comprehensive internal control based risk management framework. B, outsourcing is allowed if full compliance and data security are ensured. Must be maintaining a business continuity plan and DRS, disaster recovery plan as well. Annual ITIS audit must be conducted, or none of the above. Obviously none of the above. All are correct here. All are correct here. Right? Outsourcing is fine, but you cannot transfer the ETP authorization. Okay, outsourcing is fine. Next one, all the ETP operator must store the data for how many years as per the RBI regulation? So they need to store it for at least 10 years. For at least 10 years, they need to store it. Right? And in case of any kind of investigation, then for 3 more years after the date of the closure of that particular investigation, you need to store. So can I say that for 10 years you need to store? But let's suppose here there is an investigation, then for 3 more years you need to store. Whatever the closure date of the investigation is, you need to store for the 3 more years. That's what the bare minimum criteria. Next one. What was the NPA non-performing rate against the outstanding loans under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana at the end of 2025? Anyone? NPA rate under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana at the end of 2025. 9.81%. Okay, 9.81% is the correct choice. Option D. Next one. Who chaired the 32nd meeting of the Financial Stability and Development Council subcommittee in 2025? A very simple one. A very simple one. None other than Malhotra Sahab, right? Option B. Option B is the correct choice. Next one. What is the main feature of the new RBI microsite for the bank notes launched in 2025? Next one, what is the new per transaction UPI limit for selected payments starting from 15th of September 2025? A very high probability question directly एग्जाम में आ सकता है. ठीक है, इससे रिलेटेड हमने बहुत सारी प्रैक्टिस की थी. We have practiced so many questions in the finance current affairs session as well related to this particular. So in some cases up to 5 lakh is allowed. That's the new per transaction limited. P2P, it's still at 1 lakh rupees. For P2M, they have changed it to 5 lakh rupees for different transaction. अच्छा, which bank has launched the डिजी उद्यम होना चाहिए था यार, BOB लिखने से तो BOB आंसर हो जाता है. ठीक है, ऑप्शन बी इज द आंसर. पुअर फ्रेमिंग ऑफ द क्वेश्चन बेसिकली. नो वरीज एट ऑल, एक आध दो क्वेश्चन ऐसे आ जाते हैं कभी कभी. Then tell me which committee plays a key role under the lead bank scheme in coordinating such efforts. हाँ P2M ही पूछ रहा हूं मैं. ठीक है, आई थिंक शायद P2M मिस हो गया था. तो P2M में ही तो चेंजेस आए. और किस में चेंजेस आए? सिर्फ P2M में ही तो चेंजेस आए. 5 लाख रुपीज हो गया ना P2M का. P2P जो है वो तो आपका 1 लाख ही है. P2P स्टिल 1 लाख रुपीज. P2M आपका चेंज हो चुका है 5 लाख पे. राइट, याद है आपको? क्रेडिट कार्ड, ट्रैवल ट्रांजैक्शंस एंड सो मेनी थिंग्स वर देयर. हमने पढ़ा था फाइनेंस करंट अफेयर सेशन में. Here the correct choice will be district level consultative committee, option D. District level consultative committee. Okay, option D. Next one. Loans to state sponsored SC and ST organization for purchase of inputs or marketing outputs are classified under which of the category? Loan to state sponsored SC/ST organization for purchase of inputs or marketing output will be classified under which of the following category? Yes, very good, Sudarshan. Priority sector lending, PSL, perfect, PSL. Next one. As per the DAY NRLM, what proportion of beneficiaries must compulsorily belong to the SC/ST category for availing the benefit? That should be minimum 50%. That should be minimum 50%. Tell me this one. Under the DRI scheme, what is DRI scheme? Differential rate of interest scheme. What is the maximum loan amount that can be sanctioned at 4% interest for the productive activities? For the productive activities. 15,000 rupees. 15,000 rupees. Minimum what percentage of the total DRI loan must be allocated to the SC/ST? The answer is 40%. तो आई थिंक जो 40% बोल रहे थे उनका मिक्स हो गया था यहाँ से वहाँ पे. ठीक है, तो ये 40% इज फॉर द DRI scheme. What additional amount SC/ST borrowers can receive as a housing loan under the DRI scheme? That is 20,000. For housing loan, it is 20,000. For productive activities, the maximum loan limit at 4% interest under the DRI is 15,000. Please do remember this. For housing loan, it is 20,000, which is over and above that 15,000, right? तभी यहाँ पे देखो additional लिखा हुआ है. They have clearly written additional here. Next one. Under the CEGS SC, what is the range of the guarantee coverage provided for the eligible loans? Credit Enhancement Guarantee Scheme for Scheduled Caste. For the SC entrepreneurs, what is the range? It is from 15 lakh to 5 crore. 15 lakh to 5 crore. Option B, very good. So this was from the master circular related to the credit facility for the SCs and STs. Right? I have given the summary pointers as well. Tell me which of the regulatory body have introduced multiple scheme framework for NPS from 1st October 2025. I think it's self-explanatory in nature. NPS, obviously it's none other than your PFRDA. PFRDA के अलावा क्या हो सकता है ना? NPS का फ्रेमवर्क तो वही चेंज करेगा. What is the primary purpose of the RBI Advisory Group on Regulation AGR formed in 2025? It's for the channel industry feedback on the regulations. Option B, very good. Option B. What was the projected private capital expenditure in India for financial year 2026 as per RBI, as per Reserve Bank of India? That is option C, 2.67 lakh crore. A project is considered as project financed if what minimum percentage of funding is expected from its own cash flow from the project finance direction. %, okay, 51% is the correct choice, option D. Please do remember this one. Can you also tell me the sequence, the correct sequence of the phases in the project as recognized by the Reserve Bank of India in the project finance direction? The correct sequence. The correct sequence is design phase, construction phase and then operational phase, right? पहले डिज़ाइन करोगे फिर ही तो कंस्ट्रक्ट करोगे. एक बात बताओ, ठीक है, चलो इसको छोड़ते हैं, इसको याद रखने की क्या ज़रूरत है? एक बात बताओ, मान लो आपका घर बन रहा है तो सबसे पहले तो मैप बनेगा, तो कहना है से द फर्स्ट थिंग विल बी डिज़ाइन. एक बात बताओ, मैप बनने से पहले ही क्या कंस्ट्रक्शन चालू हो जाएगा? नहीं हो सकता, पॉसिबल नहीं है. हो गया तो फिर पता नहीं क्या बनेगा, घर की जगह पता नहीं क्या बन जाएगा, है ना. तो पहले तो डिज़ाइन ही होता है, फिर कंस्ट्रक्शन होता है, एंड देन द लास्ट फेज इज ऑपरेशन फेज. यार जाके रहोगे कब? जब कंस्ट्रक्शन कंप्लीट हो जाएगा. अब स्टूडेंट्स बोलते हैं सर कितना याद रखना पड़ता है? भाई आधे से ज़्यादा रिलेटेबल है. अगर तुम रिलेट करके पढ़ रहे हो तो कुछ भी नहीं है ना. स्ट्रेस फ्री पढ़ाई करा करो. लास्ट में जो हो रहा है पढ़ लो, जो नहीं हो रहा है कोई बात नहीं, एक रीडिंग मारो, नहीं हो रहा है तो छोड़ दो, राइट. दैट्स व्हाट द स्ट्रैटेजी शुड बी लास्ट की. पर इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें मत छोड़ देना, कहने का मतलब. The whole idea is don't take too much stress. What is the full form of the DCCO? Date of commencement of the commercial operation. Date of commencement of the commercial operation, right? Option A. Tell me this one. As per the RBI direction, the operational phase of the project begins from which point in time? The operational phase begins from which point in time? It is from the actual date of DCCO to the full repayment of loan, right? The operational phase starts from the DCCO and continues till the loan is being completely repaid. Option C is the correct choice. Option C is the correct choice. What is the provisioning requirement for standard asset classified under the construction phase for residential housing? For residential housing. That's 1.25%, right? That's 1.25%. For under construction projects with aggregate lender exposure up to 1500 crore, what is the maximum lender exposure on an individual basis which is allowed? 1% है. So ये वाला रिव्यू में जाता है, ठीक है. इसको एक बार मेन गाइडलाइन से प्लीज रिव्यू कर लेना यार एक सेकंड के लिए, ठीक है. हो सकता है ये ऑप्शन गलत पंच हो गया हो यहाँ पे, ठीक है. दिस इज सब्जेक्ट टू रिव्यू. ठीक है, मेरे को एग्जैक्टली याद नहीं आ रहा है 1 था या 1.25% था, तो प्लीज इस वाले को रिव्यू कर लेना, इस वाले क्वेश्चन को रिव्यू कर लेना. सो इसका आंसर क्या था? 10% था. ओके, इसका आंसर 10% था. ऑप्शन डी. फॉर द अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन प्रोजेक्ट विथ aggregate lender exposure up to 1500 crore. What is the maximum individual lender exposure allowed? So I can say ये बिल्कुल डीप में जाके पूछा हुआ है सर्कुलर से क्वेश्चन. So एक दो क्वेश्चन इस तरीके के आपके एग्जाम में आ सकते हैं डेफिनेटली. नेक्स्ट वन, इन द पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स fund disbursed by the lender is often contingent upon the certain project readiness parameters. This includes obtaining rights over the land or securing necessary clearances in the PPP infrastructure project. How much of the land or rights of the way must be possessed before the fund release is permitted? Before the fund release is permitted. $50, okay, 50%. Next one, what is the maximum permitted cost overrun? What do you mean by cost overrun? Let's suppose I have estimated that my cost will be in this particular range, but it is exceeding the range. So what is this maximum overrun which is permitted? What is the maximum overrun which is permitted? While retaining the standard asset status, I want to be standard asset only for the bank, for the regulated entity. So 10% of the original cost is the overrun which is permitted. Next one, for infrastructure projects, what is the maximum permitted deferment of the DCCO, date of commencement of commercial operation, to maintain the standard asset classification? So that is 3 years from the original DCCO. Very good. 3 years. Perfect. Acha, can you guys tell me from which date this particular direction related to the project finance is applicable, is coming into effect? From 1st of October 2025, it's already there, right? 1st of October 2025 already aa chuke hain. Which of the following best describe the treatment of project with financial closure before 1st of October under the Project Finance Direction 2025? Financial closure. So, if your financial closure is just before the date of this direction being effective, then no need to apply this particular direction. No need to apply this particular direction, not relevant for you guys. What is the maximum permitted DCCO deferment period for non-infrastructure project including the commercial real estate and CRE residential housing? Again a deep question from the circular. ये पूरा circular ही थोड़ा सा अतरंगी circular था. It was a complex circular. The correct answer here is 2 years. The correct answer here is 2 years, okay? And what is the maximum percentage increase of the increase in cost due to the scope enhancement? Let's suppose we have taken a project, that's why we have taken a project finance as well from the regulated entity, but because of there was a scope enhancement, earlier we need to just create one floor, we need to just construct one floor, but there is a scope enhancement, we need to again create a second floor. So what is the minimum percentage increase in cost? 25%. That allows the DCCO deferment. Now we need the DCCO deferment. Why? Because we do have some additional work. We need to create this additional floor as well. So 25%, 25%. Option A. So this was from the project finance direction, right? This was from the project finance direction. Now this can be very, very important for your phase 1 examination. ये directly आ सकता है. What percentage of adjusted net bank credit must the SFB, small finance bank, allocate strictly to the RBI prescribed select subsectors? RBI prescribed PSL select subsectors. भाई जो 75% बोल रहे हैं, मैं पहले बताता हूं 75% से 60% हो चुका था, ठीक है? अब उस 60 के अंदर से 75 से 60% हो चुका था, राइट? अर्लियर इट यूज्ड टू बी 75%, नाउ इट इज 60% ओनली. From this 60%, you need to allocate 40% to the few select subsector areas within the PSL. PSL maybe there are so many areas. From those areas, 40% you need to allocate to the select sub areas as prescribed by the Reserve Bank of India, and rest of the 20% you can allocate in any PSL sub areas. So here the question is, what percentage of adjusted net bank credit must the SFB allocate strictly to the RBI prescribed PSL select sub areas? यार PSL के एरियाज हैं, उनमें से कुछ एरियाज RBI प्रेस्क्राइब करता है कि आपको स्ट्रिक्टली इसमें 40% डालना है, रेस्ट ऑफ द 20% आप कहीं भी डाल सकते हो. टोटल बेसिस पे इट इज 60%, बट RBI प्रिस्क्राइब्ड सेलेक्ट सब एरियाज के अंदर इट इज जस्ट 40%. ओके, इट इज जस्ट 40%. रेस्ट ऑफ द 20% you can allocate in any PSL sub select areas as per your own choice, right? No doubt in the examination what I personally feel is they are going to ask you this 60% criteria as well. इतना difficult question मेरे हिसाब से नहीं बनाना चाहिए, नहीं तो क्या होगा, ये क्वेश्चन से ऑलमोस्ट 95% लोग एलिमिनेट हो जाएंगे. 95% लोग इससे एलिमिनेट हो जाएंगे क्योंकि कोई भी ये ध्यान से नहीं पड़ेगा ये वाली लाइन, राइट? और थोड़ा एग्जामिनर्स भी है ना ऐसी चीज़ों से दूर रहते हैं जो बहुत कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन क्रिएट करती है. सो मेजॉरिटी, आई थिंक दैट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द चांसेस, मेजर चांसेस की बेसिकली आपका 60% वाला क्राइटेरिया दे आर गोइंग टू आस्क यू, राइट? बट प्लीज बी वेरी केयरफुल वाइल रीडिंग द क्वेश्चन कि वो पूछ क्या रहा है. सो दिस वन विल बी अ वेरी हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी क्वेश्चन. ओके, बहुत हाई चांस है कि आपके फेज 1 के अंदर आ सकता है. Next one, this is regarding the AEPS direction, which is Aadhaar enabled payment system. So RBI has mandated that acquiring company must carry out the due diligence of the AEPS touch point operator, right? In accordance with which of the following? Obviously the KYC guidelines, right? Obviously उसका due diligence करना है तो documents चाहिए होंगे, KYC चाहिए होंगे, तो obviously यहाँ पे आपका KYC guidelines सही आंसर बन जाता है. From which date the new rules of AEPS operation come into effect as per the RBI latest guidelines? From 1st of January 2026. 1st of January 2026. Perfect. Happy New Year is the code. Next one. Who is the operator of the Aadhaar enabled payment system? यार इससे easy question नहीं आ सकता एग्जाम में. One of the most direct question. NPCI. ओके, ये वाला NPCI आपका, NPCI नेशनल पेमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया. NPCI, why? Because it is related to payment. Definitely ये वाला ऑप्शन आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए दिया है. UIDAI, why? Because आधार रिलेटेड काम सारे UIDAI करता है, बट दिस इज पेमेंट सिस्टम. सो पेमेंट रिलेटेड थिंग्स कौन करता है यहाँ पे? NPCI करता है हमेशा. सो नेशनल पेमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया विल बी द करेक्ट चॉइस हियर. UIDAI इज जस्ट देयर टू कंफ्यूज यू गाइज. वाई? बिकॉज इट्स आधार रिलेटेड. सो मोस्टली सारे लोग UIDAI को टिक करके आएंगे रादर देन NPCI, but this is a payment system and all the payment systems, majority of the payment systems यहाँ पे कौन गवर्न कर रहा है? NPCI ही गवर्न कर रहा है. नेक्स्ट वन, ATO क्या होता है? सो इट्स नथिंग बट AEPS टच पॉइंट ऑपरेटर. AEPS टच पॉइंट ऑपरेटर होता है. As per the guidelines, if an AEPS touch point operator remains inactive for how many months, the bank must re-perform the KYC. A very simple one. Correct choice is 3 months. Okay, 3 months is the correct choice. So these were the questions from your AEPS rules and regulation. Which bank approved to facilitate the trade payment for Naira Energy despite the EU sanctions? It was option B, HDFC Bank. Was it UCO Bank? Just let me check. मे बी यहाँ ऑप्शन गलत पंच हो गया हो तो हो सकता है ना. जस्ट लेट मी चेक क्विकली. अच्छा, तब तक आप लोग ये वाला आंसर कर दो. जब तक मैं चेक कर रहा हूं. Answer this one. अच्छा, इसका आंसर यूको ही है. ठीक है, यहाँ पे ऑप्शन गलत पंच हो गया है. सो लेट मी जस्ट चेंज इट. यूको बैंक इज द करेक्ट चॉइस. ओके, सो थैंक्स फॉर करेक्टिंग हियर. यहाँ पे यूको बैंक इसका करेक्ट चॉइस हो जाएगा. इसका आंसर आपका हो जाएगा ऑप्शन बी 7. राइट, 7 इज द करेक्ट चॉइस हियर. नेक्स्ट वन. What types of loans are offered under the PMMY scheme? PMMY scheme. What about this one? PMMY scheme, option C. Now some of the questions from your financial stability report. So yesterday we have concluded the financial stability report. I can say around 20 questions, 20 to 25 questions, and rest of the questions I'll be taking right now. The NBFC sector in India remains healthy with strong capital buffer, robust interest margins and earning, and low level of impairment. Can you tell me the gross NPA ratio of the NBFC sector at the end of March 2025? March 2025. Any idea about this one? That's option C, 3%. 3%. Option C, 3%. Next one. NBFC, including the housing finance companies and the fintech firms, account for more than what percentage of personal loans below 50,000? Option Z, 80%. Okay, account for more than 80%. As per the Reserve Bank of India Systemic Risk Survey conducted in May 2025, which of the following risk groups were perceived to have increased compared to the previous survey as per the Financial Stability Report? It is for the global and institutional risk. Okay, it is for the global and institutional risk. Option B, global and institutional risk. Which of the following risks were assessed as high risk subcategories in May 2025 SRS? In May 2025 SRS, it was geopolitical conflict, equity price volatility, and cyber risk. No problem at all. What you can do is just have a quick reading of these MCQs that I am giving you. Right? Now no need to read the entire report because that's not practically possible. I won't advise you guys to read anything new as of now. Already a lot of content is there. Even if you guys are able to revise the MCQs related to those things that you were not able to cover, that will also be fine. Identify the correct statement with that of the deposits of scheduled commercial banks. The scheduled commercial bank aggregate deposits grew at 10.7% during 2025 and the growth in the savings account deposit continued to outpace with that of the current in terms of the term deposit. So basically only the statement 1 is correct. Only the statement 1 is correct here, not the second one. Dash sector has continued to record the highest GNPA ratio. Which sector has continued to record the highest GNPA ratio? Agriculture. Okay, option B, agriculture is the correct choice here. Identify the correct statement here. March 2025, the capital to risk weighted asset ratio of scheduled commercial bank SCBs increased to a record high level of 17.3%. Second, public sector banks reported a higher CRAR in March 2025 as compared to the September 2024 position, whereas private sector banks reported a lower CRAR in the same period. Only the first statement is correct one. Second is not correct. As per the Reserve Bank of India's latest stress testing exercise, which of the following statement is correct regarding the Urban Cooperative Bank? Regarding the Urban Cooperative Bank. Option C, stress testing was conducted for 200 plus UCBs with asset size over 500 crore, excluding those of the AIDs here. Acha, UCBs in the tier 2, tier 3 and tier 4 need to achieve the CRAR of at least what percent by March 2026 as per the RBI guidelines. This data was also stated in the financial stability report. Any idea about this one, guys? Option B, 12%. Okay, option B, 12%. Very good, Anurag. 12%. Option B. Next one. This is a simple one here. The minimum solvency ratio prescribed by the IRDAI for insurance companies in India. This is a very straight question. You guys don't know this one. This is a very straight question. We have done it multiple times in the finance current affairs session as well. Whenever there is a news related to insurance, that's 150%. That's 150%. Okay. That should be the minimum solvency ratio. What do you mean by solvency ratio? Your assets above your liabilities. Next one. With the present deposit insurance limit of 5 lakh rupee, more than what percentage of the total number of deposit accounts were fully insured? And more than what percentage of the total value of all the assessable deposits were insured as on March 2025 as per the financial stability report? Option A, 95% and 40%. Option A. So I've pasted some of the finance current affairs as well for you guys in the meanwhile. Okay guys, so the best part will be whenever you are revising this particular circular PDF, the marathon session, some of the finance current affairs also you will be able to cover. Let's start with the May month. So we have concluded the June month, we have concluded the financial stability report ka rest of the portion, we have concluded the October month news. Now let's start with the May month. Very first question for today, a very simple one. What is the minimum timeline prescribed for the public comments before a draft regulation is finalized by the Reserve Bank of India? A very simple one, a very straight one. I hope you all will be able to answer this one at least. That's a direct question. जो सर्कुलर आते हैं कितने दिन में आरबीआई उनको फाइनलाइज करता है, पब्लिक के लिए कितना दिन छोड़ता है पब्लिक कंसल्टेशन के लिए? "21 days, okay, 21 days, option B, 21 days. According to the framework, the Reserve Bank of India is required to conduct, where feasible, before finalizing any regulation, what the RBI is required to conduct: stakeholder voting, media review, judicial validation, impact assessment, or public grievance testing." That's called as impact assessment. Okay, impact assessment. What kind of impact our circular will be having on the regulated entities, on the general public, and so on. So we call it as impact assessment. Next one. Not all the RBI regulations fall within the scope of 2025 framework. As per the non-applicability clause of the framework, which of the following is explicitly excluded from the public consultation and impact assessment process? Simple one. Any kind of administrative rule, any kind of internal rule which is more specific to RBI rather than the regulated entities and the general public can be excluded, right? So when the circular is confidential, when the public interest requires immediate action, when the regulatory objectives would be compromised in case of any delay during any kind of emergency intervention, or if it is more of a administrative related, then the RBI can skip the regulatory framework consultation process. Okay, then there are 3 notifications. Most of them are related to SEBI only. SEBI extended the nomination framework implementation date, right, for the phase 2 and for the phase 3. They have extended. For the phase 2, they have extended it to August 8, 2025, and the phase 3 they have extended it to 15th December. We have covered this in the finance current affairs as well. Then SEBI permits the use of mutual fund for the investment advisors and the research analyst deposit compliance to meet their mandatory deposit requirement. So they can invest in the liquid mutual funds and the overnight mutual funds as well for meeting their mandatory deposit requirements. So SEBI has permitted them. Okay, so this one also we have covered in the month of May in finance current affairs. Which of the following was a direct outcome of the RBI's relaxation for the FPI in corporate debt under the general route? Can be important. Can be important. Option A, FPIs can now allowed to invest only in instruments with maturity more than 1 year. RBI has allowed FPI for relaxed reporting requirement on short-term investment. FPIs can now invest without any restriction on the amount invested in a single corporate issuer, and that's what the correct answer is. There is no restriction as of now. right? That's what a relaxed restriction. There is no restriction as of now. Next one. As per the RBI guidelines, who bear the full responsibility of the actions and conduct of the lending service provider? Who bears the full responsibility for the actions and conduct of the lending service provider? Regulated entity will continue to have the full responsibility despite of anything. Okay. Yes, regulated entity, option D. Perfect. Next one. While presenting the matched loan offers through the DLA, RBI mandates that the LSP must avoid which of the following? Which of the following should be strictly avoided? There is no problem in AI based ranking. There was a particular word in that circular. Yes, that was dark pattern. Very good. Option E, dark pattern. Dark pattern should be avoided. What is the maximum cap by the RBI on the default loss guarantee in a fixed loan portfolio? A very simple one. The DLG amount is always 5% only. Okay, it's always 5% only. Please do remember this one. कोई भी सर्कुलर ले लो, जनरली आपका DLG जो अमाउंट होता है वो 5% के अराउंड ही होता है. ठीक है, 5%. नेक्स्ट वन. A fintech entity structures a loan product for MSME and claims that its DLG arrangement is risk free because it's backed by the Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. Another arrangement is backed by the International Monetary Fund. The RE insists on reporting these as the DLG linked exposure and include the coverage in its capital calculation for migration. Which of the following is correct based on the RBI 2025 direction? Option A. CGT MSE based guarantees must be treated as DLG and reported under the 5% cap. Option B. IMF guarantee are to be included under for the DLG computation. Option C. RBI requires all guarantee to be treated for the DLG for provisioning. Option D. Guarantees from the government owned NBFCs are automatically excluded from the DLG. Option E. Guarantees under CGT, MSE, IMF, multilateral banks are excluded from the DLG computation. The correct option here is option E. Yes, option E here is the correct choice. Option E. They are excluded from the DLG classification. Perfect. An NBFC launches 2 lending apps in collaboration with a fintech. One is self-owned and the other is operated by an LSP. The NBFC fails to report the second app to the RBI. During an inspection, it was found that the unreported app lacked grievance redressal into and did not link the REs to the application to the website. The Chief Compliance Officer argues that since LSP operated it, the reporting was their duty as per the directions. Which of the following is correct? Which of the following is correct as per the directions? The regulated entity must report all the DLGs, self or third party doesn't matter, via the CIMS portal. Why? Because it's always the responsibility of the regulated entity. Right? It's always the responsibility of the regulated entity. A commercial bank enters into a DLG arrangement with a fintech player. The batch of loans under this particular arrangement starts defaulting. The bank waits for 6 months before taking any kind of action, hoping to recover from the borrower directly. Eventually, it invokes the DLG cover on the 190th day. Can you tell me which of the following accurately reflects the RBI's requirement regarding the maximum period to invoke the DLG? Can be important. That's option D, 120 days from the loan becoming overdue. If it's been 120 days from the loan becoming overdue, you need to invoke the DLG, the guarantee. You need to invoke the DLG, right? Option D. So this was from the Digital Lending Directions Guide. Acha, what is the maximum collateral free loan limit for the eligible borrowers under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana Tarun Plus category? It is up to 20 lakh rupees, right? It is up to 20 lakh rupees. The loan limit is up to 20 lakh rupees. The Supreme Court issued directives to make digital KYC accessible to the persons with disability. Which of the following is not among the specific measures instructed for banks or regulated entities? That's mandating the blink of the eye test for all the liveliness detection in the video customer identification process, but I personally feel that this is not going to be so much important in your examination. This won't be of a higher importance in your examination, right? Acha, please do remember this one. Exim Bank, Government of India supported line of credit Diti to the Government of Mongolia for crude oil refinery, right? We have discussed this one as well. Around 700 million US dollar की line of credit दी थी to the government of Mongolia. The following amendments in the FEMA non-debt instrument rules, investment in vehicles like AIF, like REIT can now be there to issue partly paid up units to the non-resident. Which of the following statement is correct? You need to identify the correct statement. Regarding the reporting requirement for issuance of the partly paid up units to the non-resident under the FEMA can be important. Can be important. B and C are correct, okay? B and C are correct basically. B and C are correct here. So this I have taken from the reporting on firms portal, issuance of the partly paid up units by investment vehicle. Please do read it. Please do read it. Okay. Next, can you tell me this one? This is from a SEBI related circular. What metric does SEBI use to track the real directional exposure in equity options nowadays? SEBI uses an adjusted measure for tracking the real directional exposure in the equity options. That's future equivalent open interest, okay? Future equivalent open interest. Option B. To compare different options and futures, SEBI uses a conversion mechanism for uniform risk assessment, future equivalent to Y, in which type of a adjusted measure that aligns various contracts to a common unit. Price based, risk based, delta adjusted, time weighted or margin based. The correct choice here is, guys, it is delta adjusted. Okay, it is delta adjusted. We have done this circular earlier. And what percentage of the MWPL market wide position limit usage triggers a ban period? Triggers a ban period for the stock derivatives. For the stock derivatives, so it should be 95%. Then a stock ban will trigger. When the market wide position limit will hit 95%, a stock ban will be triggered. What is the new MWPL formula effective from October 2025? So from October 2025, a new market-wide position limit formula is effective. Which is the one? That's option A, lower of 15% of the free float or 65 times the ADDV, average daily delivery volume, whichever is lower. Option A. To improve transparency, SEBI has mandated that exchanges monitor the MWPL usage multiple times during the trading hour. From when will the stock exchange begin intraday monitoring of the MWPL? At least how many times a day? At least how many times a day? Important. At least 4 times a day. At least 4 times a day. Right? Acha, recently expiry was also changed to Tuesday and Thursday. So the exchanges can choose their different expiry, either Tuesday or the Thursday. Right? So this is from the measures for enhancing the trading convenience and strengthening the risk monitoring in the equity derivative. So I'm just skipping some of the finance current affairs which we have already covered. Acha, what is the maximum collateral free loan amount offered by SBI for Agniveer with salary account at SBI? That's option D, 4 lakh rupees. Now this is from the free AI report. This is from the free AI report. What is the full form of free AI report recently released by Reserve Bank of India? Any idea about this one? Can be important from your examination. First, it is related to AI. Second, it is released by Reserve Bank of India. So I have covered it in a detailed manner and I have taken some of the questions in this particular marathon session as well. Maybe one question can be there from this particular report. Don't ignore this report. It's related to artificial intelligence. Can be important. Framework for responsible and ethical enablement of artificial intelligence, option E. Framework for responsible and ethical enablement of the artificial intelligence, option C is the correct choice. The ethical guardrails were articulated as 7 sutras to anchor trustworthy system across the financial sector. These span fairness, accountability, human centricity, etc. Which of the following is not one of the 7 sutras? So in this particular free AI report, they have given 7 sutras. Which of the one is not among the 7 sutra? Yes, data localization over outsourcing was not among the 7 sutra. Very good. Perfect. So these are the 7 sutras that you need to remember from the free AI report. Tell me this one. To operationalize the responsible AI, the blueprint clusters action into 2 broad buckets: capability building and risk controls. The intention is to encourage the experimentation while ensuring the safety net as well. So which set correctly states the 6 strategic pillars? 6 strategic pillars as per the free AI report. As per the free AI report. That's option A, infrastructure, policy, capacity. Infrastructure, policy, capacity, governance, protection and assurance. Option A will be the correct choice. Acha, how many surveys were conducted in the particular free AI report? related to the institutions like SEBs, NBFCs, AIFI. So 2 surveys were conducted. Please do remember 2 surveys were conducted. Institutions were including SCBs, scheduled commercial banks, NBFCs, AIFI, and several fintech companies were also there. So 2 surveys were created. 2 surveys were there. During the half year ended March 2025, India's foreign exchange reserves experienced a contraction. Which of the following best explains this particular decline on a balance of payment basis, excluding the valuation affix? So this is the financial year ka data. For foreign exchange, we have discussed about the current data as well, which was published in the last month as well on the RBI website. Right? We have discussed the last month data as well. Option B, widening the current account deficit and sharp decline in the capital account inflow. Okay, option B. As per the report, which of the following constitutes the largest share in the deployment of the India's foreign currency asset as of March 2025? So it's more of related to securities issued by the foreign sovereigns. Securities issued by the foreign sovereigns. What does a negative net international investment position signify in the context of India's external debt? Negative net international investment position signifies in the context of India's external sector. Option D, India has more external liabilities. If this is negative, then that means India has more external liabilities than the assets. In the foreign exchange reserve management framework, currency, gold and revaluation account is used to do what? Is used to book valuation gains and losses arising from the exchange rate and gold price changes. Acha, tell me, what was the level of India's foreign exchange reserve at the end of September 2024? And where did it stand at the end of 2025? So I personally feel that the financial year ka end ka data and the recent data, these 2 things you need to know, right? September 2024 ka not required. So March 2025 ka data was 668.33 billion. 668.33 billion. Okay, 668.33 billion. March 2025 ka data. Under the SAARC currency swap agreement related to 2024 and 2027, what was the total quantum of the duration of the swap availed by Bhutan and Maldives respectively? Option B, very good. Option B is the correct choice. 15 billion and 400 million USD. 3-month and the 6-month respectively for Bhutan and Maldives. What percentage of the total forex reserve did it represent in March 2025? We are talking about the share of gold in the overall forex reserve composition, and gold and silver can be an important topic considering the surge in the last few years. Okay, both for your phase 1 and for your phase 2. So option D, 11.7% of the total forex reserve was solely gold only. Then we have already discussed about the 7 sutras of the AI, the strategic pillar. Okay, so please do remember this one. This is from the free AI report, framework for responsible and ethical enablement of the artificial intelligence. Can be important for your examination perspective as well, right? Coming to the next topic, your monetary policy, right? Your monetary policy, your latest monetary policy committee meeting that you need to remember. So this was the 57th meeting. This was the 57th meeting. Repo rate was unchanged. Rest of the rates was also unchanged. The policy stance was neutral, right? The policy stance was neutral. So repo rate as of now is 5.5%. The SDF is 5.25%, which we also call as the floor rate in the corridor, right? This is the SDF. This is your repo rate, and your margin, your MSF is at 5.75%, which is also called as your cap, right? This is the floor rate. This is the concept of corridor. This is the corridor concept. In what else you need to remember here is, audible? Please confirm anyone if I'm audible or not. I think there was some network lag. I hope it's fine now. Okay, perfect. Thanks for confirming. So guys, we have covered so many circulars. The last month will be April, that will be covering in the marathon session. So April se leke October month tak we have covered some of the finance current affairs plus the circulars as well related to your RBI. And now it's time for the last month, April month. Tell me this one. Okay, so tell me this one, but this particular one. I'm ignoring that first question because that's not so much relevant for your examination. Under the SHG bank linkage program, banks are encouraged to lend the SHG based on which key principle? Based on which key principle? It's based on the principle of saving habits. Okay, it's for the saving habit and the group discipline. That's what SHGs are for. As per the RBI's operational guidelines, which of the following is true about opening a saving bank account for SHG? It's option C. KYC must be compliant with the respective master direction. What type of typical range of the loan to saving ratio of the SHG? Loan to saving ratio of the SHG is required under this particular direction. So this is from the deep part of the circular, right? Paper tough aaya to definitely 1:1 or 1:4 can be extended, can be exceeded for matured SHG groups. Yes, 1:1 or 1:4. Next one. Loan to SHG are classified in which category of the Reserve Bank of India's regulatory framework subject to the compliance with relevant direction? So they are classified as the priority sector loan only. They are classified as the PSL loan only. Which of the following best reflects the RBI stance on default by individual members of the SHG? Let's suppose this is the SHG. There are so many individuals. Now particular few individuals have defaulted. Will it impact the entire SHG? No, it won't impact the entire SHG. The SHG should not be penalized even if the group as a whole is not, even if some of the individuals have defaulted, the SHG should not be getting any kind of penal impact. According to the Reserve Bank of India guidelines, which reporting requirement apply to bank for the self-help group? Which reporting requirement apply to the bank for the self-help group? That's option C. Quarterly reporting to NABARD, you need to make quarterly reporting to the NABARD and the members of the CIC Credit Information Company, right? Quarterly reporting. So this was from the SHG and bank linkage program, right? I have given the important pointers as well. Next one. Not all the form of subsidies are allowed under every scheme, and which of the following financial support is not available under the DAY NRLM scheme? That's related to your capital subsidy. Capital subsidies are not allowed in this particular scheme, right? Capital subsidies are not allowed in this particular scheme. Under the DAY NRLM, which of the following conditions must an SHG fulfilled to receive the revolving fund assistance from the Ministry of Rural Development. The SHG must follow the Panch Sutras. Members must be aged of above 40 and below 60. At least one member should be financially literate. The group must be federated under the NABARD for 3 years. So 1 is the correct choice. Option A, the SHG must follow Panch Sutra as one of the condition if you want to receive a revolving fund facility. What is the minimum eligibility period for the SHG to avail the loans under DAY NRLM, and what happens if the loan was previously defunct? If the group, particularly if the SHG group was previously classified as defunct, what is defunct? Defunctioning. 6 months of active existence need to be there. The defunct SHGs become eligible after 3 months of the revival. So first we need to revive this SHG. Once it's on track, then after 3 months of the revival, we can again pump the loans. Which of the following correctly matches the individual loan facility available for the SHG women under the DAY NRLM scheme? So it is 10 lakh rupees for the matured SHG members for entrepreneurship. 10 lakh rupees for the matured SHG members for the entrepreneurship. According to the DAY NRLM norms, what percentage of the loans above 6 lakh must be mandatorily used for income generating purpose? That's 85%. That's 85%. Okay, that's 85%. I totally understand कि April month का आपको नहीं याद आ रहा होगा. What you can do is, if you are covering the April month, some students are just covering 3-4 months only. If you want to cover that month as well, you can just directly do it via MCQs, right? That will also work. Or you can read some of the important pointers as well if you like. What minimum share of the DRI loan that must be given to the SC/STs beneficiary here as per the RBI guidelines? So 40%, okay, 40% in the DRI loans. We have already discussed this one, 40%. Who chairs the District Consultative Committee under the Lead Bank scheme of Reserve Bank of India? The district collector, right? The district level is being administered by district collector. So this is from the master circular related to the lead bank scheme of Reserve Bank of India, and here are the key pointers as well. What is the penalty if the currency chest reports a soiled note remittance wrongly as a withdrawal? So following the clean note policy of RBI, there were so many circulars related to the notes. $50,000, very good, 50,000. Under the scheme of penalties for customer service deficiencies, how much penalty is levied if there are more than 5 violations across the inspections? 5 lakh rupees, okay, 5 lakh rupees. So everything is in multiple of 5 only, right? First one was the 50,000, this one is the 5 lakh, so easy to remember, guys. Next one. The bank must ensure that counterfeit detection processes are robust and technology backed. There should not be any fake notes. Any lapse in this regard is taken seriously by the Reserve Bank of India. What is the RBI stance if a bank fails to detect counterfeit notes using proper machinery? Using proper machinery. In such cases, RBI will assume full negligence by the bank, willful negligence by the bank, right? So there are strict provisions related to the counterfeit note. If your machines are not able to detect it, then RBI will be assuming full responsibility of the regulated entity. What is the penalty for not conducting a bi-monthly surprise verification by an unrelated officer, the penalty is 10,000 rupee for repeat default. As per the RBI's master direction circular, now this can be important for your phase 1. As per the RBI's master direction on the urban cooperative banks, what is the minimum number of professional directors required on the board of an urban cooperative bank? So guys, 2 is the correct choice, okay? That's the bare minimum which is prescribed. Okay, this can be important. Next one. This one is also important. Related to the risk management committee. So according to the RBI guidelines, the UCBs are required to set up a dedicated risk management committee if their asset size exceeds which of the following threshold? If their asset size exceeds which of the following threshold? Option C, 5,000 crore. Okay, 5,000 crore. If your asset size is increasing the 5,000 crore threshold, then you need to have a dedicated risk management committee that assesses what kind of risk your regulated entity can have in the near future, right? So this was from the Master Circular Board of Directors UCBs. Next one. Which of the following is a mandatory requirement under the RBI guidelines for detection of the counterfeit note currencies before the notes are dispensed from the ATMs? Before the notes are being dispensed from the ATMs, the first one, physical verification by the branch manager, random sampling by police authorities, verification through the UV lights at the branch teller counters, machine verification of notes of 100 and above, certification by currency chest officer. The correct answer here will be machine verification of notes of 100 and above. So what you need to do is you need to do a verification by the machineries to detect any kind of counterfeit note presence of any note which is of 100 rupee and above before loading into a ATM machinery. What is the flat penalty imposed if the counterfeit note is dispensed from an ATM or the over the counter by a bank branch? The bare minimum penalty will be 10,000, right? So this was from the counterfeit note direction related to detection, reporting and monitoring. Can you guys tell me what is the total minimum capital requirement under the Basel III of India, including the capital conservation buffer? That's 11.5%, right? If I include the capital conversion buffer as well, so it will be 11.5, 9 plus 2.5. That will be 11.5, okay? What is the focus of Pillar 2 under the Basel III capital regulations? Focus of Basel III under the capital regulation. The Pillar 2 is related to the supervisory review. It is related to the supervisory review and the evaluation process, including the ICAAP. So this was from the Basel III Capital Regulation Master Circular. As per the RBI phased roadmap, what is the target CRAR of Tier 2 to Tier 3 urban cooperative banks that they must achieve by March 2026? Now this can be important. This can be important. That's 12%. Very good. That's 12%, right? According to the RBI norms, what is the minimum shareholding requirement for the UCB borrowers in case of a secured loan? Minimum shareholding requirement for the UCB borrowers in case of secured loan. That's 2.5%. That's 2.5% of the loan amount. Okay, 2.5%. Which of the following best explains the treatment of bond with put option under the revised RBI framework for HMT classification? Bonds with put option. Bonds with put option must be classified as FVTPL due to the embedded derivative. Puttable bonds cannot be classified as HMT unless exercised on a call date. Bonds with put option can be exercised as HMT only if the option is not expected to be exercised. Bond with put options can be classified under the HMT if the bank has a clear intention to hold them until maturity. Bonds with put option are excluded from the HMT if there are any risk of early redemption. So, Prachi, you will be definitely getting the PDF. Please join the Telegram channel of Oliveboard and please do download the application as well. Definitely this PDF will be downloaded. Acha, put option means right to sell. Okay, put option ka matlab right to sell. If I am having a bond and I am having a put option as well in that particular bond, let's suppose the maturity period is 5 years, but I can still sell the bond whenever I want to because I am having the put option. I will put that bond in front of the issuer ki please take your bond. That's what put option is all about. So in this particular case, option D will be the correct. The bonds with put option can be classified under the held to maturity. Now I don't have any kind of intention, right? Because I'm having a bond plus I'm having a put option. So it's not sure that I may continue the bond till the maturity. That's what HTM is all about, held till maturity, right? So it's not sure that I'll be carrying this bond for the next 5 years. It can only be classified as HTM if the bank has a clear intention. If I'm having a clear intention of holding this bond till maturity irrespective of the put option, then I can classify it as HTM. Why? Because it's always a doubt when I have a put option, I always have an option to पहले ही redemption लेने का. Under the RBI revised framework, how are securities classified under the HTM category? Post value acquisition. Post value acquisition at fair value based on the prevailing market prices, at cost adjusted with the mark to market fluctuation, at amortized cost unless materially impaired, at revalued cost or at intrinsic value. So the correct answer here will be at amortized cost, right? When it is a held to maturity, I always use amortized cost. When it is FVTPL, fair value through profit and loss account, I carry it at mark to market value. That means my fair value, right? In the context of this particular classification, what does FVTPL stand for? So FVTPL is nothing but fair value through P&L account. That means in case of even a slight valuation from 10 to 11 rupee, I will take 1 rupee. I will take 1 rupee in my P&L account. Let's suppose now it moves from 11 to 13 rupee. There is a valuation gain of 2 rupee. I'll again take it to my P&L account. We call it as mark to market. We call it as mark to market. That's what FVTPL means, fair value through P&L account. How the investments under the AFS and FVTPL categories are categorized according to the RBI revised guidelines. According to the RBI revised guidelines. Any idea about this one? Option C, both the available for sale and FVTPL, they both will be marked to market. They will both will be marked to market, right? They will both will be carried at the fair value only. What is the regulatory capital treatment of the unrealized gain on the level 3 assets under the RBI's transitioning fair provision? So they both are deducted from the CET1 capital. Now this won't be so much, this won't be an important question for your examination, right? It's a low probability question, so you can ignore this one as well. You are not able to download the yesterday's PDF as well. So I'll definitely have a word with my team, Prachi. Okay. I hope they are uploading on the Telegram channel of Oliveboard. Plus it is there on the application section as well of Oliveboard. Just skipping some of the questions which are not so much relevant. Okay, which of the following statements correctly describes the signing requirement for the bank guarantees as per the master circular on the guarantees and co-acceptance? All the guarantees must be signed by the branch manager. Guarantees exceeding 1 lakh must be signed by the CEO of the bank. Only unsecured guarantees require joint signature regardless of the amount. Guarantees above 50,000 must be jointly signed by 2 officers, or any amount of guarantee must be signed by 3 officers. Here the correct choice will be option D. If the guarantee is above 50,000 rupees, then it must be signed by the 2 officers. Right? Option D is the correct choice. Perfect, guys. Very good. Glad to see that so many students are still able to recall those things from the April month circular as well, right? It will definitely give you an edge in phase 1 plus in phase 2 as well, guys. Under the RBI framework, when can the bank extend the credit facilities to NBFC engaged in factoring activities? The correct choice here will be, guys, option B. If more than 50% of their total income arise from the factoring transactions, then only the bank can extend the credit facility to the NBFC engaged in these factoring activities. What is the maximum exposure a bank can have to a single NBFC as per the RBI prudential guidelines? These prudential norms will apply specifically to the tier 1 capital of the bank only. Option C, 20% of the tier 1 capital. Okay, 20% of the tier 1 capital. And what is the maximum exposure bank may take to the group connected NBFC? In case of group connected NBFC also, there should be 25%, right? Here it is 20% to a single NBFC, and to a group connected NBFC it will be 25%, right? So this is from the bank finance to the NBFC master circular. So guys, I'm just covering those circulars now from the April month, which can be very important for your phase 1 only, right? Rest what you can do is just give it a quick reading later on. Why? Because I need to somewhere or the other keep it exam oriented only. We need to keep all these sessions exam oriented only, particularly to the phase 1. Okay, as per the RBI housing finance norms, what is the maximum permissible exposure a UCB can have to a group of connected borrower under the housing finance? 20%, 15%, 10%, 25% or 40%? That's option D, 25%. Okay, 25%. When the UCBs evaluate the working capital requirement under the turnover method for eligible borrower, what percentage of the projected annual turnover is considered as the maximum permissible loan? As the maximum permissible loan. That's 20% of the projected turnover subjected to the 5% of the margin money. Perfect. 20% of whatever your projected turnover is subject to 5% will be the margin money, right? 5% can be the margin here. Okay, as per the RBI norms, which of the following best describes a small value loan for the purpose of compliance with the UCBs? For the purpose of compliance with the UCBs, loans up to 25 lakh or 0.4% of the tier 1 capital, whichever is higher, with a cap of 3 crore per borrower. With a cap of 3 crore per borrower. And guys, you need to check for the upgrade as well here. Please check for one of the update as well, which recently was there from this particular question. Just give me a second now. Okay guys, perfect. So that's all for today's session. I'll conclude here. Best wishes to all of you, right? Best wishes to all of you. And guys, we have covered I think almost all the areas of the circular from your October, September, August, July, June, May, April, right? So it will be a very big coverage for your phase 1 examination. I wish you the very best for your examination, right? And in case if you guys are not able to, kind of cover a particular area, no worries at all, right? What you can do is just try to do as many MCQs as you can and only cover that area only, that, that is a comfortable zone for you as of now. Don't go into the डिस्कम्फर्ट जोन एज ऑफ नाउ, दैट विल बी माई सजेशन, राइट? सिर्फ उतना ही पढ़ो अभी जितना आप पढ़ चुके हो, वो चीज़ें टच मत करो जो बिल्कुल आप लोगों के लिए नहीं है इन द लास्ट फ्यू डेज. ओके, सो थैंक यू सो मच गाइस, बाय बाय, टेक केयर, see you soon and wish you the very best for your phase 1 examination.